Hey everybody, it's Inanna. So today we're going to talk about the primeval prehistories of On and Genesis. And this is a printout that you can get on my website for 99 cents. And it has all the information on a nice little table for you. Okay, so what this is a side by side comparison so that you can sort of put this together with your Bible. Because I Pentecostal myself, my birth growing up that way, but I want you to see the comparison of what was going on. You know, I always try to take you back to the Garden of Eden, back to the beginning in time, and give you a little history. Well, it can be confusing. So I'm giving you a side by side example of what was going on in each book. So, what was going on in the Sumerian, the Atrahasis epic, the Eridu Genesis, and the Bible is all side by side. So you can see the timeline and understand what was cut out the Bible. I like to preach that, what was cut out. Okay? So you can get the download on my website after this live. You can get the download. It'll be just 99 cents and you'll be able to go over it. Um, I won't be able to go and give it to you right now. Maybe I can. Okay, so in the first row, we'll have the Sumerian king list. Now, that's this first row, the Sumerian king list. Now, at the same time that the Sumerian king list was being constructed and kingship came, there was a creation and kingship came down from heaven. That's what happened in Sumerian's kings list. Creation and kings was lowered down from heaven, beginning with Adam. Okay, now the next one is the Atrahasis epic. It says the creation and then humans was created to work for the gods. There's all the different views at one time. Okay, and then you have the Eridu Genesis. And the Eridu Genesis says there was creation and then cities was instituted. Okay, and then there is the Genesis, which says there was just a creation of man. Okay, so you see how it's so left out. Okay, so now let's see which things can be proved. Okay, for me, Eridu Genesis will be the winner because the five Sumerian cities can be found. They're real. They're solid stone. They're there to show you that this went true. So I would go with Eridu Genesis on this because at least you know that the man was created and cities was instituted, and then you have the cities there. So I would go with the Eridu Genesis on this one. The next thing that happened that was different on the four books is the genealogy. Okay, now in the Sumerian king list, they said a series of 8 kings in 5 cities. All right. In the Atrahasic, it says noisy humans alienated the deities. Okay. In the Eridu Genesis, it says alienation. Alienation implied cities and kingships were created. So in the Eridu Genesis, the kings were created a little later. And in the Bible, it says alienations, and that happened in Genesis 2 to 3 and genealogies 4 to 5. This is all that happened at the same time. It's a timeline for you. Okay, then there was a flood. Okay, now Sumerian king list, they just said it was a flood. Okay, Atrahasis says there was a flood and an ark. Okay, Eridu Genesis said there was a flood and an ark, and the Bible said there was a flood and an ark. So we're gonna stick with the flood and the ark. Okay, so then for the Sumerian king list, it says there's a new start of genealogies after the flood. Okay, and Atrahasis says there's a new start. Eridu Genesis says there's a new start. And the Bible in Genesis 8 through 9 says there's a new start. 10 through 11, a new start. So it's talking about all the books, how they compare and how they agree. Okay, and then the last one is going to be modern times. Okay, modern times, modern times. That's not even modern time refers to the beginning of the second millennium BCE. Okay, and this chart is based on a article called "The Reliability of the Old Testament." So it is a comparison with the Bible, and it also. So let's talk about it a little more in depth. For the Sumerian kingless creation, they said, after the kingship descended from heaven. That's how they describe it. The Astahasis describes the creation as after 3,600 years of hard work, the gods create mankind to do the work for them. They sacrifice a lesser god, mix his flesh and blood with clay, and bake the mixture in an oven. Okay, for Genesis for that creation, they say the heavens and earth are created out of chaos and the sea. God uses pillars to raise the fruitful places up, which is earth, and between the liquid waters and the waters to the atmosphere. The gods create man to farm their land, herd their animals, and worship them. So those are three different creation myths. Okay, the next one is for the Sumerian king list. The Sumerians say the kingship was in Eridu. They found it. 8 kings are listed in 5 cities: Eridu, Bad Tabira, Larak, Sipar, and Shurippak. Atrahasis is listed as the king of Shurippak prior to the flood. So you have, okay, now for this for the Atrahasis epic, it says after 1,200 years, man's noise made the gods angry. Enlil, and he had a lesser god produce a plague. Enki gave Atrahasis advice. The plague stops. 1,200 years pass. Man's noise angers Enlil, and he has the lesser god produce a disease. Enki helps Atrahasis again. 1,200 years pass. Man's noise angers Enlil again, and he makes Enki produce a flood. Enki advises Atrahasis to build a boat and fill it with his family and every type of animal. That's the Atrahasis. That's okay. Now in Eridu, Genesis says cities and kinships are created. Eridu, Batapir, Larak, Sipar, and Shurippak. Okay, so Ninurter and Inanna grieve. A god warns Zeus Sudra about the flood. So you see, we got Noah, we got Zeus Sudra, we got Atrahasis, all of them being saved by different gods at the same time, and it's described as a different story. See what I mean? The Bible talk about Noah, but the Sumerian king list is talking about Atrahasis as the one who did it. They're also talking about who else did they say did it? Nebuchadnezzar also did it. See? So there's a lot of people who were supposed to survive the flood besides Noah, but they just told you about Noah. Okay, so now the flood is happening, and here's the 3 comparisons. Okay, then the flood swept over. That's what the Sumerians say. Okay, and then Atrahasis says, like a wild ass screaming, the winds howled, the darkness was total, there was no sun. Inanna wept. The dead bodies clogged the drains like dragonflies after 7 days. So that is them weeping and writing about the actual time when the Sumerian gods was crying about the flood. So you know what I mean? And they didn't die because they writing about how they crying about the place getting flooded. So again, I told you none of them died. Okay, so here it is right here. For Eridu Genesis, it says, all the evil winds, all stormy winds gathered into one, and with them, then the flood has sweeping over the city for 7 days and 7 nights. Okay, so all of them is talking about the flood. Okay, and the last thing there is called in the 3 books is generations. after the flood had swept over and the kingship had descended from heaven. That's how the Sumerians describe what went down. Okay, Atrahasis says the flood subsides and Atrahasis offers the sacrifice. Ninhursag swears she will never forget the flood. Enki persuades Enlil to punish man by making 1/3 of all births unsuccessful. That was how the flood ended, according to the Atrahasis. Okay, now with the Eridu Genesis, it says the sun comes out. Zeusudra is the one who did it. I knew it. Zeusudra, Neputin, Noah, and Atrahasis. All of them can't be Noah. See, two lines passed. Two lines passed. Zeusudra and Neputin. Yeah, okay. The sun comes out, Zeusudra sacrifices before the sun, then before An and Enlil. They make him ruler over small animals and the seed of mankind and grant him life like a god's. So that is going to be on my website. It's a 2-page printout, or you can print front and back. And it's 99 cents to download, and it's a side-by-side comparison of how the books, the tablets and the books wrote the stuff. Now, the back part is just leaving the Bible out because we all know the Bible story, but in the front it does a side-by-side comparison. So, that link to download that is 99 cents to download. It'll be in my stuff, okay? So I'm going to set that up for you in a few minutes, but I'm going to finish my live before I set it up. So we're going to keep going. We're going to see what else I printed up for you. Okay, so now I love to go over the giants again, because if you didn't get the list, it's $1.99. It's on my site. The whole list of giants in the Bible, so you can just read the Bible and know who the giants are. It's worth it. It's $1.99. It's on my website. It's $1.99. Go and find the download. Download it. It's a safe and secure website, and you just download the file to your computer for you to be able to print out and have for all time for you and your family. So I have that. And then I have the Gilgamesh epic that I can read to you. And it's called Inanna Gilgamesh and the Halupa tree. It's rather long. I won't read this one yet. And let's see what else I'm going to do. So I have a lot of Sumerian texts and stuff that I can read to you. So now I just talked to you about the Eridu Genesis. So here is a quick run through of the Eridu Genesis without any translation or added thing. It's just a poem, a translated Sumerian text. This is also downloadable. All of my papers that you can get, you can download these documents on my site. If it's just one page, it'll be a 99 cent download. And any other size will be $1.99. Okay. So, so now this is the Eridu Genesis, restored and translated in 1981. Okay, 36 lines are missing from the beginning of the column, so it was broken and they had to try to get a translation anyway. Okay, so let me read what the first line it says. Is a broken tablet. It says, mankind's trials, when forgotten by the gods, were in the high desert. In those days, no canals were opened, no dredging was done at dikes and ditches on dike tops. The cedar plow and plowing had not yet been instituted for the knocked under and downed people. No one of all the countries was planting in furrows. Mankind of distant days, since Shechan, the god of flocks, had not come out on the dry lands, did not know, arraying themselves in prime cloth, mankind walked about naked. In those days, there being no snakes, being no scorpions, being no lions, being no hyenas, being no dogs, being no wolves, mankind had no appointed. Fear and terror did not exist. People had as yet no king. Nintur was paying attention. Let me bethink myself of my humankind, forgotten as they are, and mindful of mine, Nintur's creatures. Let me bring them back. Let me lead the people back from their trials. May they come and build cities and cult places, that I may cool myself in their shade. May they lay the bricks for the cult cities in pure spots, and may they found places for divination in pure spots. For the convenience of the reader and for the permission of the author and the appropriate editors, Jacobson reconstructed translations of the Eridu Genesis and the Hirab myth are included with an appendix. Okay, so it says, she gave directions for purification and cries for quarter, that things cooled divine wrath, perfected divine service, and the august offices. Said to the surrounding regions, let me institute peace there. When An, Enlil, Enki, and Nin her saga finished the dark headed people, they had made the small animals that came up from out of the earth come from the earth in abundance, and had let there be, as befits, gazelles, wild donkeys, and four-footed beasts in the deserts. Line, lacuna, at beginning of Kali, and let me have him advise. Let me have him oversee their labor, and let him teach the nations to follow unearnestly like cattle. Let the royal scepter was coming down from heaven, the august crown and the royal throne being already down from heaven. He readily performed to perfection the august divine services and offices, laid the bricks of those cities in pure spots. They were named by name and allotted half bushel baskets. The firstlings of those cities was Eridu. She gave to the leader Nidamud. The second, Bat Taberira, she gave to the prince and sacred one. The third, Larak, she gave to Pabisal. The fourth, Sipar, she gave to the gallant Utu, Shemesh. The fifth Shurippak she gave to Sud. These cities, which had been named by names and had been allotted half bushel baskets, dredged the canals which were blocked with purple fish, wind-borne clay, and they carried water. They cleaned off the smaller canals and established abundant growth. Line Lunka at the beginning of column had originally was told. Here is suggested the fragment from Ashurbanipal's library. Okay, now these are just broken fragments. Okay, I'll say that day Nintir wept over her creatures, and holy Inanna was full of grief over their people. But Enki took counsel with his own heart, and Enlil, Enki, and Ninhursag had the gods of heaven and earth swear by the names of An and Enlil. At that time, Zeusudra was king, and Lustration priest. He fashioned, being a seer, the god of giddiness, and stood in awe beside it, wording humbly. As he stood there regularly day after day, he heard something that was not a dream appear in conversation, of swearing of oaths by heaven and earth, a confirming touch of throats, and the gods bringing their throats up to cure. And as the Asura stood there beside it, he went on hearing what he had to hear. Step up to the wall to my left and listen. Let me speak a word to you at the wall. May you grasp what I say. May you heed my advice. By our hand, the flood will sweep over the half bushel baskets and the country. The decision that mankind is to be destroyed has been made. A verdict, a command by the assembly cannot be revoked. An order of Ant and Enlil is not known ever to have been countermanded. Their kingship, their term, has been uprooted. They must rethink themselves of that. Now, what I have to say to you. Latina here to the bottom of the column. All evil winds, all stormy winds gathered into one, and with them the flood was sweeping over the cities, the half bushel baskets. For 7 days and 7 nights, after the flood had swept over the country, after the evil wind had tossed the big boat about on the great waters, the sun came out spread in light over heaven and earth. Zeusudra then drilled an opening in the boat, and the gallant Utu, Shamash, sent his light into the interior of the big boat. Zeusudra, being a king, stepped up before Utu, kissing the ground before him. The king was butchering oxen, was being lavish with the sheep, barley cakes, crescents together. He was crumbling for him. Juniper, the pure plant of the mountains, he filled on the fire, and with a clasp to the breast, he, Lacuna, from here to the bottom of the column. You here have sworn by the life's breath of heaven, the life's breath of earth, that he verily is allied with you yourself. You there, An and Enlil, have sworn by the life's breaths of heaven, the life's breath of earth, that he is allied with all of you. He will disembark the small animals that came up from earth. Zeusudra, being king, stepped up before An and Enlil, kissing the ground, and An and Enlil did well by him. We're granting him life like a god's. We're making lasting breath of life like a god's descend upon him. That day they made Zeusudra preserver as king of the name of the small animals and the seed of mankind. Live toward the east over the mountains to Mount Timna. Text breaks off near the end. So Zeusudra was given the life of a god and sent out to seed the world again after the flood. So see, the stories are so weird that you didn't get. And these are Sumerian texts. In the first beginnings, Earth took a wife. We would cut furrows in the wasteland of the country. Earth took to wife. Harab in the first beginnings took Earth to wife. To found a family and exercise lordship, his heart urged him. We will cut furrows in the wasteland of the country. Plowing through the soul-breaking plow, she caused Sarah to be created. The fur rose gave birth to Samukhan. His stronghold, Danu of Yor, they built the two of them. Harab gave himself clear title to the lordship of Danu, but lifted her face to Sumukwan, his son, and said, Come, let me love thee. Sumukwan took Earth, his mother, to wife, and Harab, his father, he killed, and in Danu, which he loved, he laid him to rest. Also, Sumukwan took over the lordship of his father and see, and his older sister he took to wife. But Gu, the son of Saquan, came and killed Sumukwan, and Danu in the mausoleum of his father he laid him to rest. See, his mother he took to wife. Also, See murdered Earth, her mother. In the month of December, on the 16th day, he took over the lordship and the kingship. Son of Gau took Idu, his own sister, to wife. So this is talking about the beginning of time and how they described it. So the Akitu festival is what this is leading to, and I think I went a little over on that because I wanted to talk to you about the Akitu festival on tomorrow when I do my live. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. What I did was and this last part of this poem is about the new year and the holidays and the pagan holidays they had way back in Sumerian times that you're supposed to have now, but instead you have those other ones. So we'll talk about the rest of this poem tomorrow, okay? And that was the Eridu Genesis. Eridu Genesis. The reason it's important because Eridu was one of the first cities ever established by the Anunnaki, because we already had cities here like Ur and Urek. You don't hear them in that list. Yeah, we had cities already before they came. We wasn't in no cave. So so that is then we have the 14 tablets of Lord Enki, which I'll be reading a section of, and you can download and read it with me. I'll be reading these 14 tablets. You can download the PDF off of my website. It's $1.99. I'm gonna have it uploaded on the site after we do this live. So I'm putting all of my material that I talk about and read up on the site, and you can just go there and get it and go over it if you need to refresh yourself. Okay, but once you pay the 99 cents, you download it onto your computer, you'll have it forever. It'll be there until you get rid of it. So this is the Epic of Gilgamesh. I have several nice, the Descent of Inanna. All of these are there easily, so you can download them and then use them as a source for your stuff. So I hope that you understand that I'm giving you the materials to read, individual stories that'll help you out in your journey. There's at least 10 papers on my site that you can download. Anything that I have that I'm working with on my site, I just go ahead and put it on the site. Then you can purchase it on the download. I don't sell a book or anything. I don't have anything to sell you. But I do sell my research because I've already researched all of this stuff and found the information for you. You could pay 99 cents or 1.99 to download those materials. I've already done the legwork for you. So if you would consider going to https edenzone.net and going on to the site, I have a little area where you can go, and it's going to be where you can go download all the papers that I have on the site. It's in the process right now. So you'll be able to get this material in your computer for later reference. It's okay if you don't like having to go do the searching. It's right there for you to download through me. Okay, now so let's do a little review as usual on no, we'll stop this live right now. It's 30 minutes and then I'll start a new one. I'll see you back in a few minutes, okay?